Hey my loves, it's your girl Karen Tappan, CEO of Karen's Body Beautiful. Welcome back to another episode of the Karen Says Talk Show. We are coming to you live and will do so every Monday at 7 p.m. right here in Google Hangout and my YouTube channel. I'm very excited about tonight's show. We have Dr. Seanna-Kaye Denham, one half of the dynamic sister duo of Natural Hair Does Care. You probably know Seanna-Kaye, but what you don't know is that Seanna-Kaye is also the, wait for it, Associate Unit Chief and Lead Clinical Psychologist of the Child Psychiatry Inpatient Program at the Kings County Hospital Center. Did I get that right?
That's right.
All of that. She's doing big things. And we have Demica Durr, Business Advisor at Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses, of which I'm a proud graduate. And she's my former business advisor. Yes. Thank you very much. Demica will graciously share her natural hair journey, including some of her struggles and her successes. And as always, we want to hear from you. So we're taking questions and comments during the show. Please call in at 800-628-2210 or tweet us at Karen Says Show, and feel free to follow us there too. So before we dive into today's topic, which is Haircology, overcoming natural hair anxiety, let's talk about Rachel Dolezal's situation and her straw set for a minute. Talk amongst yourselves. What's going on?
Well, anybody who has been paying attention to the news this past weekend could not help but hear about Rachel. She is the woman who was, up until today, the president of the Spokane, Washington.
She stepped down?
Yes, she resigned.
Oh my goodness.
There's so much tea. Oh my goodness.
So wait, because I remember yesterday and earlier today she was supposed to speak to her board and
she was
at 7 p.m. and then she said that she wasn't going to do it.
Right.
And that's the last thing I heard.
Yeah, so they had said they were going to have the meeting anyway.
Okay.
Because they wanted to make sure that they addressed the matter amongst their executive board. And then shortly after that, we heard that she was resigning. She issued a statement also with regards to that.
Okay.
And the statement itself is very interesting. So apparently, she's the former head of the Spokane, Washington NAACP. And she, for all intents and purposes, was regarded as a woman of color, a black woman, by the people in that town, and had a history of advocacy for civil rights issues. And then it was discovered, in fact, her parents revealed the information that she's Caucasian and was not as she represented herself to be. And that started just a firestorm, pretty much, the entire weekend. So, and thank goodness for Black Twitter, because as it's colloquially known, because once people got a hold of this information and tried to unpack it, one of the ways that people tried to unpack it was through humor.
Right.
Absolutely. And so we saw
Ask Rachel.
Right.
Ask Rachel. Gave me life
the
over
memes.
the
Oh my goodness.
definitely.
Hilarious.
And I think
So I've heard, I've been reading the comments, because when I read articles, I always read the comments because that lets me know what people are thinking. It gives me the pulse of America, the pulse of black people, the pulse of white people. And so I have a good idea of what's going on, right? So some people were saying, that's terrible. Right. She's a this and she's a that, and she should be fired and she should step down. Okay. And then some people were saying, well, what's the big deal? Well, she didn't hurt nobody. So she was living in a fantasy land. She didn't hurt nobody. She was an advocate for us. And if she thought she was black in her head, she married a black man. She has black children. She had black, adopted brothers.
Right.
What's the big deal? And then other people were like, well, damn, why would her parents sell her out like that? Like, what's really going on there?
Yeah.
And then they did interviews with her brothers,
Right.
who were completely throwing her under the bus.
Right. And said that she actually, I think one of the brothers came out and said that she actually pulled me to the side several years ago and told me to keep
Don't
it
blow
under
my
wraps.
cover.
Yeah.
Keep it under wraps.
And I think that that's a major issue, that people feel like where there's smoke, there's fire. Something just doesn't smell right about the whole situation. Of course, we know that people of color come in all hues and shapes and sizes. So, she has the appearance of someone who
Potentially could have
been
a member of the
right,
family.
especially if you look at the track of her pictures over time, you notice that there's been a darkening of her skin and the
hair. She
hair.
had the hair down pat.
Yes, definitely.
Some of us.
That's right. I mean, if you look at my pictures over the years, Rachel and I have shared many hairstyles.
Right.
So definitely she really committed to the whole physical expression. And I think that that's some of the concern. People were a bit confused as to why she would choose this method of self-expression. But I think a larger issue that people had was something just doesn't smell right. Like, why would you lie over and over again? And how much does it take to lie?
So then what's the difference between her lying about being black, living in this black life, black face, black world, and a black person who's passing? What's the difference?
That is a very good question.
Now, of course, I know the difference is that people who pass, especially back in the day, you know, are passing for their lives, to save their lives, and, you know, to have some kind of quality of life. And now today, you know, the stakes aren't as high.
Right.
But then if the stakes aren't as high, then, and I was talking to my husband, I was saying that a woman came into my store years ago, and she looked white. She even had a sweater tied around her neck. She looked like she came straight out the Hamptons. She looked like Martha Stewart.
Right.
And so I approached her to help her in the store, and I was giving her a hair consultation, and I was recommending the products that I usually recommend to my Caucasian customers who are looking for something light for their hair. And then I can't remember what I said and what she said, but she was like, "I'm black." And I was like, "Okay." I said, "Okay, so well, tell me what you're looking for, and then we can have a better conversation." But that was so interesting to me because she was clearly passing. Now, I don't know her. I don't know if she was really passing in her life, but I just looked at her, the way she was dressed, the way she carried herself. I was like, this woman is passing. She's purposely looking like this so that she can kind of go fly under the radar. And then another time I went, I don't remember, I was going through TSA, and this was, my hair this is shrinkage, but it was bigger. And so they always feel the need to dig in my hair and, dig me down. Even though I went through the metal detectors and there were no bombs in my afro. And so they assigned me to this white woman for her to dig in my hair. So she was digging in my hair, and I started cussing her. I was like, "Could you stop? Just relax. You are messing up my hair." And I was like, "But you wouldn't understand, blah, blah, blah." And I mentioned, I was like, "White people don't understand." And, you're in there. And she was like, "I'm not white, I'm black." And I was like, oh,
checked you.
She checked me. But she was clearly passing. I wanted to ask her.
Did she whisper it to you?
She did. Of course she did. Of course she did.
So there's the physical appearance, right? There's the phenotypical appearance, what you could see on the outside. And what you're saying goes to a lot of assumptions that people make just by the way that we look. Right? So people think that they get a lot of information from you just from what they see. And that's very interesting because more and more with the way that social media is taking off, we're seeing that images are playing a major, major role. And people are defining how they present themselves in a lot of how they look. So if you look at her images, for example, right? And you look at those that you were talking about earlier, when we were talking earlier about how people are talking about Black celebrities who have modified their appearance as well, and what's the difference, right? So people are doing a lot of things physically to give information about who they are based on what you see at first impression.
Or who they want you to think they are.
Definitely. And I think that, to the extent that self-expression is something that I think we all support, then how you want to present yourself to the world is fine. But in the issue specifically of Rachel, there's this question of integrity that African-American culture and the African-American experience isn't something that you put on and you take off. So in terms of where the questions come up with Rachel Dolezal, it's why would you appropriate, why would you find yourself taking on this identity? And I think that because those questions are still unanswered, people are still uneasy about her whole role and perspective.
So let me play devil's advocate because I often get in political, intelligent conversations with my friends, and so I remember this weekend we talked about, well, if she's, or just in general, cultural appropriation, if she's culturally appropriating our race, then what's the difference between her culturally appropriating our race and Black people wearing straight wigs and weaves and European,
standards of beauty,
beauty characteristics? Like, why are we not guilty of that? Why are we, free from that?
It's a very valid point, and I think that to the extent that we should look at that, I think that's an ongoing discussion. They say that to determine appropriation, it depends on the culture that's being appropriated to make the decision as to whether it is or not. And certainly standards of beauty in this country and around the world have definitely been Eurocentric. And so we see that a lot in the culture as well. So I think that's an ongoing discussion, that the benefit of what happened with this whole experience with Ask Rachel is that it did raise those conversations, and we should definitely continue to have them.
Okay, sounds good. So, all right, we're going to move the conversation along. This racial situation is going to continue for the foreseeable future. So you know we're fancy, so we're going to take a break, and when we return, we're going to play a little game called Trauma or Triumph. And of course, we want you to play along with us, so make sure you stick around. If you're tweeting, use hashtag Karen Says Show so we can see your comments and questions and your trauma and triumph answers. We'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Berman Finellis. I'm asking for your support for my next short film, Privilege. Privilege is a short film that reflects the epidemic of police brutality in communities of color. The audience witnesses the effects of such an encounter when it strikes an affluent African-American family who, despite their accomplishments and achievements, realize they could still fall victim to the violent world which they thought they were far removed from. This unjust American epidemic of killing unarmed people of color by law enforcement seems to have no end. The media chooses to focus on the few bad seeds rather than the millions that protest and rally for fairness and change on this matter. My team and I have been blessed to have worked with major brands and agencies, and our experience spans over 15 years. We have produced hundreds of commercials, music videos, and branded content. My previous short film, Lana, was well received in festivals and screenings nationwide. We were fortunate enough to win the jury's selection of excellence at the South Dakota Film Festival and the Audience Choice Award at IndieWorks. This is a project that we are deeply passionate about, and even more so believe that it needs to be seen. Our main goal is to be the voice for those who are often portrayed as villains through society's stereotypes, when in contrast, they are really the victims. Privilege is more than just a movie. It's a movement that my team, myself, and millions around the world are part of. We realize that not only Black lives matter, but all lives matter. You can be a part of this movement. We are aiming to raise $20,000 to make this film, and we humbly ask for your support. Whether it's spreading the word via social media or you give whatever you can, we appreciate it.
I want to welcome back our guest, Natural Hair Does Care co-founder and clinical psychologist, Dr. Seanna-Kaye.
Hello.
Denham, and my former business advisor and sister in natural hair, Demica Durr, business advisor at Goldman Sachs, 10,000 Small Businesses. So I've talked to thousands of women in my travels, and I know there's a lot of anxiety that some women go through when deciding to wear their hair natural. And by anxiety, I mean an emotional roller coaster that may include tears, frustration, and feelings of uncertainty. Some throw on a wig or get a weave installed, while some continue to use heat excessively to achieve straight styles. And I'm not saying everyone, some people are going through it. But even in 2015, after the natural hair movement has gained mainstream momentum, take a look at this video we came across on YouTube by Jayla O'Neal called "My Big Chop Was a Big Mistake."
After when I had seen that I had damaged it all the way down to the root, Miles got the clippers and he just started cutting away. And before you know it, I could feel the clippers on my scalp, and I didn't know he was cutting it that low. You know, I didn't know he was cutting my hair this low, but I know it needed to be cut this low. So, I looked in the mirror and I cried. I started crying. I said, I look like a little boy. I never not had hair, and here I am with a bald head. And it was ridiculous. I cried. So I just looked in the mirror and I cried. And I regretted it. And I'm not gonna say I regret it now, but you know, and then afterwards the bathroom was a mess. I had to clean up the bathroom and clean up all the hair that I loved and cherished for 20 years, and I questioned my motives and why I did it and everything. I questioned my whole life. I said, what's wrong with me? Am I going crazy? It has to be Japan. But anywho, it kind of backfired on me a little bit because now I don't want to leave the house. You know, I don't want to leave the house. It kind of backfired on me because I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to go to the grocery store. I don't want to go anywhere. I feel like people are looking at me. I feel like people judge me. And I think I'm doing it to myself because maybe in the past I've judged girls with short hair or low cuts. And I don't know. I feel like people are looking at me. I almost want to wear a sign on the back of my back and say, this is what my hair looked like before I chopped it off. Like, I had hair.
That video was heavy.
It sure is.
That was heavy. And I've met so many people that have gone through that, so many women that have gone through that. And unfortunately, the comments were, you know, they were up and down, but when it was down, I'm like, people are judging her. How dare you? Just say nothing. It's, you know, not everybody knows how to keep quiet if they don't have anything nice to say. But you see, she's in a moment of
she's raw. It was very
pain and
very transparent
being
for her to do that.
She's putting it out there. So why would you just go in for the kill? Like, what is that? Who does that? People who do that need to think about themselves.
Right.
Like, why would you do that to someone?
And you think about the fact that, I mean, everything changes when your face is just out there and you don't have the volume of hair. I think in the video she says that, you know, she shows it was like a garbage bag full of hair. So this experience of, like, when you get your braids done and you walk outside and you feel the breeze on your scalp, this is totally different for her. That how she looks at herself and her whole identity is completely changed. And she was having a moment. She's very brave to have recorded it,
Right.
first of all, and to have exposed that to the world, because she is definitely not the only person who has had that
Did
experience.
you feel in your journey any things that she shared in her video?
So I personally didn't big chop because I wanted to avoid that. So I knew that that was too harsh of a reality to face so soon for someone like myself. So I did the slow build and trimmed and trimmed and trimmed. But I would hide my hair because I couldn't deal with the two textures. But I did have an experience similar to that once when I had my hair cornrowed, my own hair, and I was waiting for my best friend to go to the movies. She got there first. Some guys had seen her and was trying to kick it to her a little bit, and they see me. She's like, oh, my friend's here. When they turned around and saw me with the cornrows, they were like, oh, my bad. We didn't know it was like that. And I said, what does that mean? I'm a girl. I like boys too. And it was a very jarring experience for me.
When was this?
This happened this is 2015.
In the 2000s?
Wow. So the assumption was
that I was her girlfriend.
Oh, my goodness.
Not her homegirl.
right.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
and
just
that,
rock the cornrows.
no, and we laughed it off, and they apologized, and you know we went on and had enjoyed the evening, but that stayed with me because I didn't want to be. I'm not a lesbian, so I didn't want to be associated with that, and to know that just wearing my hair in a particular way automatically put me in that category.
That was surprising.
Yeah, unbelievably so. Yeah, so
Yeah.
definitely a lot of what she talked about are thoughts and ideas that I've had. Forgetting the homosexuality piece to it, but just the notion that you're not as pretty as you are. You're not who you used to be, and people have gotten to know you and receive you a certain way, and now to come out like this, it takes a lot to get used to.
So you talked about transitioning and slowly trimming. That's the physical. How did you psychologically say, you know what, bump all of you?
It honestly came when I started to understand how to wear my hair. My girlfriend has an expression. She
Your girlfriend?
Says, my homegirl.
Okay, I'm just checking.
My homegirl has an expression. She says, it took a while for me to find my pretty again. And when she said it, that phrase resonates. It is something about having, you're being reborn on some level.
Yeah.
And if my whole life was, my mom permed my hair and then I learned how to straighten it on my own, and I'm wearing it down, and I see how men respond to that, boys respond to me, other girls respond to me when my hair is out versus when it's not. That takes a whole lot of, that's just a whole nother package that you have to learn to deal with. So absolutely, when I learned how to get over it, was when I learned how to deal with my texture and how to find my pretty with my hair. Because I don't believe every natural style is for everyone. That's for me. It hasn't worked out so well for me. So when I found my styles, I'm good money.
Well,
I can rock and roll.
not those glasses for everybody either.
True.
Nail polish isn't for everyone. Clothes don't fit everybody the same way. Exactly.
Just
exactly.
because they make it in your size doesn't mean
Exactly.
You're supposed to buy it.
Exactly. So natural
goes
hair
for
does
both big
care.
and small.
Who are you? What do you do? Why? What's that about?
I think that definitely this is a big part of why we do what we do, because every day we are showing a variety of ways that Afro-textured hair can just be totally fly and chic, and there's so many different ways to look and to be, that the difference between relaxed hair that can kind of all look very similar is that Afro-textured hair, when it is in its textured state, can take on many different forms and shapes and looks, that it has really a lot of versatility to it, and that we can all express ourselves in very beautiful ways. So that's what we do every day to make sure that those images are out there and that people can really just click the hashtag Natural Hair Does Care and see just a range of ways that they can just express themselves.
You are pretty recent to the natural hair revolution in terms of being like active. How did that come about?
So although we're recently on the scene, we have just found this niche, and there's just this great exchange of more and more people coming to our platforms and us getting to share more and more about our experiences. So as you said, it's my sister and I, my sister Seanna-Kaye and I, and you know, we're island girls who migrated to the United States, and over time, you know, our culture is big sister, take care of hair of younger sister, etc. But actually, in our family, my sister, she will tell you, because she was grounded so much, had a lot of time on her hands to learn to do her own hair. And she became so proficient at it that the role switched, and she was doing my hair, her hair, and those of her close friends. People would often ask us, you guys have such interesting styles and looks. Can you tell us what you're doing? And that's how our platform got started. And eventually we realized that there was just this burgeoning community and people wanted to share more and more information. So we decided that we would find a central place that everyone could access the information. And that's how Natural Hair Does Care was born, through word of mouth. Our first event, which hosted almost 300 women, was completely based on word of mouth. That was before we had any kind of social media platform. But once we saw that so many women were really interested in learning healthier ways to maintain their hair, we had to find a landing place. And that's how Natural Hair Does Care was born.
So you are a psychologist.
I am.
Do you ever have the opportunity to bring what you do, you know, in your other life into your practice at Kings County Hospital? Do you see children on a regular basis, or do you ever have those conversations? Is that ever part of what might be affecting how a child is dealing with life?
I think that one of the things that's very powerful for me often as a psychologist in an urban hospital is I always wanted to work in that setting so that the children who are in that kind of distress could see someone that looks like them. And then to hear often every day patients say to me, "Doc, I like your hair." Right? And to know that they're not just saying that, oh, it looks nice, but that they are really they're identifying with the look. And they'll ask me, how do I take care of it? What do I do? They'll say, you did it yourself. And I think that there is a generation that's coming that is going to have a lot less of the questions that older generations have, because this is going to be their normal. So definitely I think it's a big part of the work that I do.
Okay. So how long have you been fully like, I am me, love me or leave me?
I would say really in the last year.
Okay.
In the last year, I think just got used to, this is me, this is my hair, and no longer just looking for, I think everyone needs to be validated. I honestly believe that, whether external or internal. But having enough people around me pour into me, both natural and non-natural, one day I just woke up and I realized, you know what? This is it, and this is how I'm gonna roll. This is how I'm gonna rock it out.
Awesome. Do you have any what is that, successes or any struggles? Are you now you're a year in? Do you have any days where you're like, damn it?
All day.
Okay.
It happens.
It definitely so. But it's no different than when I was relaxed and I knew I was overdue to get to the salon and get my hair done or get my touch up.
Okay.
I'm a woman, and I like to look womanly and feminine. So there are days when I don't feel like I'm on my A game.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
But I don't think it has anything to do with the texture, more so. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Perfect. All right. So now we're gonna play Trauma or Triumph. Your best friend is killing her wash and goes, inspiring you to finally go natural. When you realize her wash and goes for you are a wash and no, do you A, turn into a product junkie until the heavens gift you with that miracle product that doesn't exist? B, accept that you're suffering from nappier than expected syndrome, which is a real syndrome, right, doctor?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
it's in
good.
the DSM-5.
Thank you.
There you go, Karen. Yeah, absolutely. You might have missed that, but it's there.
And then you accept and embrace. Or C, you relax it and hope the regret doesn't tear you apart. Go.
Trauma.
Well, choose one of the answers.
Okay.
A, B, or C?
B.
B. Okay, so you're suffering from nappier than expected syndrome.
That's
Okay.
fine.
Okay. And
I think I would say B also.
B, I'd say B as well. Okay, second question. You just big chopped and your short due is getting less than rave reviews from your friends, family, and coworkers. Do you A, feel beautiful despite what others say, ignore, delete, or block? B, use accessories to make your fro feel more feminine but secretly feel insecure and second guess your decision to go natural? Or C, buy a wig, wink, wink, and wait for it to grow to a length you're more comfortable wearing?
Yeah.
Can I straddle two?
Of course you can. Which two?
I would go with B and C because
Okay.
I've done that. Yeah. B,
Okay.
Yeah. B and C.
I'm not really motivated by what the haters want to say, so I'm going to go with A.
Me too. Yeah, F the haters. Okay, and the last question. You leave the house to go to a special event you've been anticipating for weeks. Your twists have been waiting to come out for 3 days. You look in your compact mirror before you get out of your car and you see nothing but frizz, frizz, and mo frizz. Do you A, throw your car into reverse, speed back home, and give the middle finger to everyone that looks at you? B, frizz it out even more because the bigger the better? Or C, frizz is evil, so you put on your trusty scarf, tuck it all away, and take your ass inside?
B.
Oh, B.
B. I've
Now
done
B.
It. Yes, I've done it.
Okay.
Yes. New Year's Eve party. I said, hey, I'm going to ring in the new year. And I pulled it out, went in the bathroom, and made it work.
Good. Okay.
My philosophy is frizz happens,
Right.
so definitely B. Rock your frizz. It's okay. The
Me
weather
too.
might not allow you to be great, but you can still be great.
Absolutely.
Right. It might allow you to be greater.
Exactly.
Right?
There
I
you
met a
go.
man that night.
Work
so
it
yeah.
out.
Okay, sounds good. So I would like to announce the winner of last week's Karen's Body Beautiful giveaway. It's Curly Udi Williams. Please email info@karensbodybeautiful.com and let us know how we can get that Lux box to you. I want to thank you for tuning in, and thank you to my guests, Demica Durr and Dr. Seanna-Kaye Denham. And you can't see her because she's right in front of me behind the scenes, but I want to shout out our executive producer, Natasha Gaspard of Main Moves TV. You can see her when we air our Beauty Bubble the first Monday of July, which is Monday, July 6th. We work very hard to bring you guys dope content that you care about while making our dreams come true. If you enjoyed hearing real talk that's also intelligent, please tell a friend to tell a friend, and give this video a thumbs up, comment below, share. We'll see you next week.